Strapz.
Preferably
Wow.
residential area.
What's going on, everybody? This is Devore. You are listening to the Not for Debate podcast. We are live on Facebook and on YouTube. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, and all other major streaming platforms. Also, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe on our Facebook pages. Excuse me, Instagram, Twitter, and on our Facebook page. I don't know why I end up butchering that up on a regular basis. You would think that I would be able to memorize that thing by now, but NFL Week 18 recap show. G Money and Banks should be joining us momentarily, but very eventful weekend. As we speak right now, I'm watching the national championship between Georgia and Alabama. Currently sitting right now, I believe Alabama is up by 3, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't looked at the screen in about 15 minutes, so don't quote me on that. But NFL Week 18, very, very eventful. I will say this before we actually do go over some of these games. I do want to say, like, some of these teams, I will probably say didn't exactly put 1,000% effort. Also, shout out to Sunset in the comment section. Didn't put 100% effort into some of these games due to the fact of their playoff seeding already really didn't make that much of a difference whether they won or lost. So wouldn't exactly look at some of these games and be like, okay, well, I'm concerned. But I'm probably off the top of my head right. Also, I did want to go ahead and cover. There were also 4 head coaching fires and 2 general manager fires. So we're probably gonna go over those as we go over some of these games. I'd like to welcome in Banks into the pod. What's going on, Banks? Okay, I'm assuming Banks is not ready yet, but I'm gonna continue to say this. Next week's schedule with the NBA, NFL playoffs. I said NBA, NFL playoffs. How it's gonna go is it's gonna be 2 games Saturday evening, which is gonna be, and then there's gonna be 2 games Sunday evening, and then they're going to have another game on that Monday night. So the way I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about it right now is that we're probably going to have a show probably every single day that during the course of the playoffs to recap those games. Want to go ahead and shout out the in the trenches and Stanley Smith in the comment section too as well. Oh, we got Quinte in the house too, so I'm pretty sure Quinte has something to get off of his chest. But I guess we can go ahead and start off with the Sunday night game with the Las Vegas Raiders and the Los Angeles Chargers. The Pittsburgh Steelers, they needed the Las Vegas Raiders or the Los Angeles Chargers. You have to win, either or had to win the football game, but the game could not end in a tie. And since towards the end of the game, as time was expired, the Las Vegas Raiders kicker ended up making a 47-yard field goal and up sending the Las Vegas Raiders into the playoffs and allowing the Pittsburgh Steelers to go into the playoffs as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and pass it along to the co-host here. Banks and Quinte just jumped in here. thoughts on the Sunday night game?
It was a very good game. It didn't disappoint. I didn't want to see the Raiders in. I wanted to see the Chargers make it to the playoffs. Because to me, that's a waste of time to see the Raiders in there. They're gonna lose first game. So
It's beautiful though, because you think about it. The Las Vegas Raiders, we all know what happened with John Gruden, ended up losing his job or having to step down. That's the way it was worded. He didn't get fired due to some controversial emails. And then interim head coach Rich, I don't know why I keep on butchering this up. Rich Bashia, I hope I said that correctly, comes in and the Raiders end up going into the playoffs. So let me go ahead and ask you this, Quinte. Do you think it's a possibility that he may end up keeping his job as the head coach, or making the job permanent as the Las Vegas head coach moving forward?
no, nah,
No? Even though he took the Raiders to the playoffs, you still going to say no?
nah, he ain't gonna do it. They scraped in. I'm gonna say this to you: if the LA Chargers had a better defense, a semi relevant defense, they would have made it. I'm just being honest with you, man. That's what's holding back the Chargers. They don't have no defense. He can outscore anybody. He can score 30 points a game, but the defense is gonna give up 35. So it's a waste of time.
I agree with you 1,000%. The offense can only do so much if the defense can't stop anybody on the opposing side of the football. So yeah, I definitely see where you're going with this. Also, would like to welcome G Money into the pod. What's up, G?
What's up, y'all? What's up, fellas? Playoffs.
Yes, it is the playoffs. Unfortunately, the Tilton Orange is not in the playoffs. But
we knew that was going to happen. But yeah,
nah, not necessary, G Money. I'm gonna say this live on the internet. I'm no longer a Dolphin fan.
Let's go ahead. No, you know what? We're gonna go ahead and just jump into that right now, because I feel like this is the big dark cloud on top of the pod right now.
Go ahead, Q.
This is the saddest day of being a Dolphin fan. This is saddest when Don Shula passed away. This is how sad it is, bro. This is sad.
I don't want to take it that far, but
no, trust me. If you ask them, some Dolphin fan actually cried. This is sad. This is a sad day. This is the first time we had a winning season 2 years in a row. The first time we've swept the Patriots since 2000. And I don't.
What happened versus the
Bills? I really don't get it. You want to? I really believe this. Chris Greer, he's a trustee. If you guys film with people who went to prison, you know what a trustee is. He is a trustee. How you fire the coach and he keeps his job? I don't get it. How does he keep his job? He's been with this organization for 20 years. That means he's been a trustee for 20 years. I really don't get it. I really don't get it.
This is just a long list of things that the Miami Dolphins have done. I mean, hiring Nick Saban as the coach, not going after Drew Brees, firing Brian Flores, not keeping or somehow working and keeping Tannehill, who could have been your franchise quarterback. It's just a list of things. I'm telling you, I've been saying this. I don't know if it's true. Ever since Dan Marino left in 1999, the Dolphins have just gone downhill from 2000 and on. I mean, 3 playoff appearances since 2000? That's not good. That's mediocre. That's not. It's just they're just not a good team, man. They have a bad aura to them. They have a bad. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is, who the coach is. The Dolphins will always be sorry until they change their culture. That's just how I see it.
Thanks, y'all. Right over there.
Yeah, man. I'm letting y'all have y'all moment, man. Y'all Dolphins fans. Y'all two Dolphins fans. I don't got nothing to say about the Dolphins, man. I said enough, bro. But to the original point about the Chargers and the Raiders game, I definitely agree with Quincy on that take in terms of, if the Chargers had a little bit better of a defense to kind of support their offense in a way. They need something outside of Derwin James and
Bosa.
Joey
Bosa.
Bosa.
Yeah.
It's their defense is non-existent, and it's actually sad because you can see Justin Herbert is the future of this NFL. Well, he's one of the quarterbacks that's the future in the NFL. The quarterback position is in great hands moving forward when you got all these young guys coming in, stepping up to the plate, making big throws, making big plays. This is what GMs and teams are looking for. They're looking for playmakers. And that's exactly what Justin Herbert is. He's a playmaker. So it sucks that the Chargers had to lose that in that fashion to be eliminated from the playoffs. I really felt like they deserved it. But, when you lose to the Raiders and then, a week before that, I believe they lost to the Texans. I mean, it's kind of difficult when you think about it. But about the Brian Flores situation, if I did make my comments about it, this is who the Miami Dolphins are. This is just another prime example of them being comfortable with mediocrity. They're not going to excel, and I'm going to stand behind that, like I stand behind it for the last X amount of years since I've been. And just for the record, in case any Dolphins fans are out to listen, which I'm sure they are, I'm a resident of Miami, Florida. I've been living in Miami my entire 33 years of my life. Not once can I remember the Miami Dolphins, in my honest opinion, ever being good enough to just, to do something. I can maybe take it back to that mid 2000 team that had Sam Madison, Patrick Surtain, Zach Thomas, JT, Brock Marion, Agunlier, Ricky Williams, Chris Chambers. I can take it that far back. And say,
But even they didn't make the playoffs.
Right, that team was held back by the quarterback position primarily. That was a really good Miami Dolphins football team that was a quarterback away from being a real serious contender. And the Dolphins have not done anything good in decades. And then you actually bring in a guy that's a bright spot, which I think Brian Flores is the bright spot for the organization. Yes, he might have been too defensive-minded at times, but at the end of the day, you got somebody that's not afraid of management, which I think, is the reason why he's not there anymore, because I feel like he was starting to go at it with management while he want him out of there. There's also reports coming out now, which I heard about an hour ago, where some players were not on board with Brian Flores being the coach anymore. Me personally, again, it doesn't make sense for the Miami Dolphins to make this decision to let him go. I understand that the whole point DeVore makes about the Buffalo Bills. Well, you can talk about the Buffalo Bills all you want and bring up a point about Buffalo, but at the end of the day, the Buffalo Bills were not the standard of the AFC East. They weren't the standard. The standard of the AFC East was the New England Patriots. And the facts are Brian Flores had a winning record against the New England Patriots since he's been coaching that team. That's the team. That was the team to beat. That was the team that because the old coaches that you guys had before that couldn't get the job done, and they were fired as a result of that. Adam Gase.
He got a good record. He got a positive record versus the Patriots too. So let's not even.
Oh my God! Can we not talk about Adam Gase today?
Hey, he did it. He brought it up.
Now I'm gonna say this to you. He won one game against Buffalo. He won 2 games against the Patriots, the Miami Miracle, and one other game. This man won 3 games back to back against this man. You understand what I'm saying, DeVore?
Yeah, I don't think Brian Flores
you hang your hat
on
a coke snorting.
I'm not hanging my hat on anything.
Yes,
I'm hanging my hat on results.
Adam Gase.
It's results, Quinte.
1 year
Playoffs.
If
he goes
that was a fluky year.
It doesn't matter. It's a fluky year for Brian Flores. You played trash teams, and you're saying that he's a good coach.
Are you saying the argument is you want Adam Gase over Brian Flores? Is that what?
That's not what I'm saying. Like everybody, this is my biggest pet peeve.
Keep comparing them.
I'm not comparing nobody. My biggest pet peeve when we sit down and we have the conversation about Miami Dolphins coaches, these people, Miami Dolphins fans, they seem to be like and say Adam Gase was the worst Miami Dolphins head coach. But at the end of the day, he got the exact same record as Brian Flores and has a playoff appearance. On top of all of that, you have no right to sit here and say Brian Flores is a better coach.
He is.
No, you cannot. He ain't take him to the playoffs, so you can't say that.
DeVore, let me say this to you real quick. That first year, they did that to him. They shredded. They purged the roster.
Who did that? No,
you listen to me right.
Who did that?
They purged the
Who is they?
The roster, right?
Who is they?
They traded everybody away.
Who is they?
That first year when he won no 5 games because they didn't want him to win no games.
Who is they?
No, wait.
Who is
they? Didn't want him to win no games.
Be specific. Who is they?
5 games, right? The second year he won 10. The third year he won 9. Adam Gase won 10 games, 1 season. 7, 8, 7, and 8. Come on now, dude. Be serious with yourself.
Yeah, hey, okay.
And
so you just broke down the facts. You just broke down the facts of Flores. We break down the facts for Gase now.
Let me finish. And then the defense sucked. Offense sucked. Besides 1 season. And you can't say nothing. You can't say nothing, dude. You can't say that 1 season went to the playoffs.
Listen. I think what DeVore said is because Adam Gase got them in the playoffs, he's better. But you can't go by that. You can't go by that. That's one season.
Can't you?
Again, the next season.
What happened the next season, Quinte? You tell me what happened the next season. Tell me, Quinte, what happened?
They had got Jay Cutler because everybody was.
Why did they get Jay Cutler to Quinte? Why? Why did they get Jay Cutler?
Jay Cutler was a better quarterback than Ryan Tannehill, right?
No, Ryan Tannehill. I know you just say sit up here and tell that bold face lie. Ryan Tannehill got hurt.
Who lives down here said Jay Cutler was a better quarterback than Ryan Tannehill. So why did he make it to the playoffs?
Who said that? I've never heard that.
I ain't say that.
A lot of people
am I right or wrong, baby?
I ain't never said that.
I don't know why people thought that.
Know what I'm talking about.
No, you guys. People are saying that you guys are saying it because you've already seen it how it worked out. But before Jay Cutler arrived to the Miami Dolphins, Dolphins fans were super excited and were saying the same. We're all
telling
happy
you,
that
man,
Jay
you
Cutler
don't live down
was
here.
their quarterback. Yes, they were.
That's crazy, man. If whoever thought that, they out there.
I'm telling you, bro. You don't. I'm gonna say it. If you live down here, you will know how I feel. You live far away.
I wouldn't say they was excited. I would probably say they was optimistic.
They love Jay
They
Cutler.
were I would say optimistic because of the relationship that Jay Cutler had with Gase and their history with each other in Chicago.
Yeah, but that wasn't Denver Jay Cutler. That Denver Jay Cutler was good. Chicago Jay Cutler was trash, and Miami
Denver Jay Cutler was good. He took them to the conference championship.
That defense took, man.
That defense took him to the conference.
Oh my God! I know we're not saying.
Did you watch? Did you watch the game against the Packers? He didn't play. The man was on the sideline
because he got hurt
on the treadmill.
He got hurt.
He didn't look hurt. He looked good enough to play. Come on.
Oh my God! See how we always want to change it for each player and each coach.
It's not changing. Jay Cutler.
We always call a spade. Call a spade a spade. At the end of the day, thank you, cheap jump scare. He's calling it a spade of a spade.
Whoever the hell was cheering that Jay Cutler came to the Dolphins, all them crazy. Everybody.
We were optimistic. I see. That's Quinte who said that. I said they were optimistic.
I'm saying it.
They were optimistic because what they thought was they was going to get a situation where Brett Favre went to the Vikings and
oh my God, now you want to
that's what it was. They thought the only coach that can get through to Jay Cutler was Adam Gase. And they thought with Adam Gase as the head coach with Jay Cutler, they thought that was going to be able to push them over the hump since they just got off of a 10-6 season and an AFC wild card loss. They can go take it to the next level and possibly make a push for the Super Bowl. That's what they were thinking. But obviously that didn't seem to be the case because Jay Cutler his head was not exactly in that.
They should look at the Bears.
The only thing that's going to save the Miami Dolphins in terms of the whole Deshaun Watson thing, because I think this puts a big damper on the Deshaun Watson thing. I feel like the only thing that's going to the Miami Dolphins better hope that they get the offense of coordinator, the offensive coordinator from the Kansas City Chiefs, the enemy in that as a head coach, because I don't see Deshaun Watson wanting to play for any other coach other than somebody with an offensive mind and that's respected. Especially after you coming from Bill O'Brien's system, I just don't see it working. Like it it needs to be somebody important.
Okay, so question: Brian Flores is out. We don't like that he's out, but he's out. Who the hell Dolphins going to hire now?
Whoever Deshaun Watson wants.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson not coming. I'm trying to tell you that.
Whoever
Deshaun Watson's
Deshaun
not
Watson
coming to
wants.
Miami.
He's not coming. He's not coming to
Whoever
Miami. That's not
Deshaun
going to
I don't
happen.
Watson
think he's coming
wants.
to Miami.
That's not going to
Whoever,
happen, bro.
whoever
Bro.
Deshaun
They
Watson
riding
wants.
with
Hey,
Tua.
you
The
can't
whole
sit
issue
here
was
and tell
because of
me.
Tua. The whole issue because Brian Flores and Tua didn't have a good relationship.
It's because
And
Tua
Chris
sucked.
Greer and the owner, Stephen Ross, they love Tua. And
They
they
do.
want
He
to
just said that
win
today,
with
too.
Tua.
Yeah.
That's why Tua played. They forced Tua into the game last year. They forced him. We were winning games with Ryan Fitzpatrick. And they forced Tua in there to play. And guess what happened? We won 10 games with Tua. But it wasn't because of Tua. It was because of the fucking defense.
Just like
Right.
this year.
Right, and then on top of that, you got to also remember, let's not give Tua all the props on those victories, man. Ryan Fitzpatrick played a huge impact on that team last year.
Yes,
Remember
he
the
did.
whole Tua
Yeah.
versus Fitzpatrick ordeal that was going on?
There was
Could
no
we
Tua
please
versus
stop
Fitzpatrick
acting
in my
like-
head.
Could we stop acting like Tua is the savior of Miami? He is fucking trash. This guy, and I'm on record saying this. When the Miami Dolphins drafted Tua, I was on record via social media when they announced that they were drafting Tua Tagovailoa, and that was because the pressure from the fans putting the pressure on the organization to get Tua. For the entire year, all we heard in the city of Miami, in terms of the sports wire, was tank for Tua, tank for Tua, tank for Tua. Bruh, it was evident that Tua was not going to work. It's not, I don't care what Miami says. I'm on record saying this. Tua is not going to work in Miami. Now, I will say this, though. He needs somebody that can with an offensive mind. So maybe that's why the organization moved on for Brian Flores, because they maybe
He's a
thought that
defensive guy.
Flores
Yeah.
wasn't giving him enough support offensively to help him out. But even offensively, I don't think Tua is going to get the job done because he's soft. S-O-F-T. Soft.
And I'm saying it doesn't matter who the quarterback is.
Capital T. Soft.
It doesn't matter who the quarterback is
Soft.
unless the Dolphins change their culture. They got to change their culture, man. The Stephen Ross, I don't know. I won't say he's a bad owner, but he's
a bad owner, dude. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't want to say it before, but he's a bad owner, dude. That's a bad decision because every time Jim Harbaugh, one of the Harbaughs, said they want to come back and coach, the one who was in Michigan, this always happens, bro. He did the same shit to Tony Soprano. The same thing, bro. The same thing. But only thing difference, he came back and gave Soprano, extension to say, I'm sorry, brother. But he did this, and that man burnt us last time.
Let me just say,
You know
Flores
that, right?
is not.
He burnt us 2 times before.
He did. Flores is not going to be
the 49ers. He was thinking about coming to the Dolphins. He burnt us then and went to Michigan. Come on now, dude.
Quinte, why are you surprised? Last week we had a private conversation about this.
This is sad, man. This is sad. This is bad on all levels, bro. This is bad.
And you know what? Just looking at the other side of this, I think it might be a blessing for Brian Flores. Hey, get the hell out of Miami. Go for another team. I say he goes to the Bears or the Jaguars. Those are 2 teams, in my opinion. Bears or the Jaguars. Probably the Jaguars if he wants to stay in Florida. With the it's cheaper here.
Okay, so I'm reading Cheap Jump Scares comment here, and he's talking about the Miami Dolphins' needs of an offensive line. My answer to that is now, Cheap Jump Scare is you knew the Dolphins need an offensive line before you drafted Tua, and you decided to draft Tua anyway. So at the end of the day,
see, here's the thing, though. I mean, I'm sorry to cut you off, DeVore, but I mean, I agree with you. I agree with you about the offensive line. You're addressing the offensive line. The Miami Dolphins desperately need help with the offensive line. I'll give you that. But all you need is an anchor on the offensive line to have an identity. As you can see, recently this season with the Cincinnati Bengals, they were able to pull it off with hiding their deficiencies on the offensive line because they came up with a very complex system that they have in Cincinnati. Cincinnati, I think Miami needs to just realize they need to put up points in order to maintain the pace. I'm just surprised at the fact that they would get rid of Flores after the performance that he put on against the Patriots. It's very shocking that this guy is not the head coach of the Miami Dolphins anymore. Because look what they just did to the Patriots, bro. That's not just anything, bro. That's not just anything that the Miami Dolphins just did. They just beat the Patriots 41 to what, 10, I think it was?
33-24.
I wouldn't
I'm
read
sorry,
too
my
much
apologies.
into
That
it.
was another game. I'm so sorry, my bad. But you know what I'm saying.
I wouldn't read too much into it.
Well, hey, I mean,
Hey,
I don't think.
go ahead.
No. Go ahead. I'm sorry, guys. I mean, I'm just saying. I can't believe I'm this emotional about the decision, and I'm not even a Dolphins fan. I don't like the Dolphins, and I think that's why I'm so emotional behind it, because this is just another example of why they just don't want to. They don't want to win, in my opinion, because I don't get it, bro. I don't get this decision.
I
Now,
don't get it either,
all
man.
makes sense once we find out who's going to be coaching them. It all makes sense then. Whenever we find out who's coaching them, it'll make sense. But whoever they're going to bring in needs to be a high-profile name, because there's no way that you decide to move on from Brian Flores and you don't have somebody in mind that you really believe is going to push the Miami Dolphins to the next step. Because regardless of what happened, I still think that Brian Flores was another year away from making the Miami Dolphins a legit contender in this conference and in the NFL. I really do believe that. But we'll see.
And don't get another defensive guy. Get an offensive-minded guy to help out. If Tua's going to be the guy, get a guy that's offensive-minded.
That's bad when your defense is already good. You fucking up the defense.
Just keep
You
Josh
fucking up
Boyer.
the
You'll be all
progression
right.
of your defense, bro.
You just keep the defense the same. You don't have to change anything.
Keep Josh Boyer. You'll be all right.
Josh Boyer was the reason why he lost those 7 games.
He's the reason why we lost the 7 games.
Brian Flores, remember the first 7 games, he didn't have no cards or nothing in his hands. In the last those 7 games he won, he took over the defensive play calling. You do not notice that.
Well, I also did notice our top cornerbacks weren't playing in some of them first of the 7 games that we played either.
About 4 of them, I think.
Yeah, but if you
it makes a big difference.
I'm gonna say this to you, boss man. If you can get pressure, me and you could be out there playing corner.
Yeah, I know that. But that's the philosophy you believe in, though. You believe in having good corners and having suspect pass rush.
I believe in pressures and covering for 4 seconds.
Yeah,
I hear you. I definitely hear you.
You always have a chance on defense.
I wanted to go back to Jonathan Bill's comment before we end up moving on to some of these other head coaching fires. I'm gonna pull it up for y'all. It says Joe Philbin, Adam Gase, and Tony Sperano are all former assistant Dolphins coaches. Well, all assistant Dolphins, please get a proven coach with a track record. So if we were to predict the future here, what's a possible good head coach with a track record?
Something.
What's up?
What about the coach when we won the Super Bowl for the Eagles? He's out of a job, right? What about getting him?
Doug Peterson?
He was innovative.
Doug Peterson,
yeah. And he's an offensive guy too. So if you're going, I mean, it'll work with what's his name?
I hope he doesn't want to work with Tua. Actually, you know what? That might be a good fit because
that might be a good
the
fit.
Whole RPO, the whole RPO scheme that they want Tua to run so bad. I feel like Doug Peterson,
Carson Wentz,
for that.
Offensive coordinator from the Steelers.
Offensive coordinator from the Steelers.
I'm telling you.
What's the offensive coordinator for the Steelers' name?
Have you watched the offense? Have you watched the Steelers offense this year? They're not good offensively.
I hear you. I definitely hear you. But outside of that, really, what's another good head coaching candidate with a resume?
Brian Leftwich is always out there if he wants to get a head coaching job.
He doesn't want to coach Tua, man.
He doesn't want to coach Tua?
Okay. He doesn't want to coach Tua, so I strongly believe he is the guy for the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's like the perfect fit for the Jacksonville Jaguars. him being drafted by the Jaguars,
Mhm.
taking the Jaguars to the playoffs. They kind of did him a little dirty when they ended up cutting him, but comes back as the head coach. I feel like that's a perfect fit right there. But I did want to go ahead and move on to the Minnesota Vikings that ended up firing their head coach and their general manager.
Finally, that guy is gone. But go ahead, continue.
Firing Mike Zimmer, the head coach, and they fired the general manager, Rick Spielman. Where is our head at as far as that's concerned?
It's about damn time. It's about time, man. Like that guy's he's one of those guys that's a better coordinator than head coach. He's not a leader, man. He's a good strategist. He should just go back to coordinating. Coaching is not his thing. It just isn't.
I think we need to take a step back when we talk about Mike Zimmer because he has taken the Vikings to the playoffs, I believe, 3 times. And you got to think about it. They play in a very, very competitive division with the Green Bay Packers. They're the apex predator in the NFC North. And the Chicago Bears at one point in time, they were pretty competitive. And then you have the Minnesota Vikings dwindling around there somewhere. So I feel like for the job that he did for Minnesota, I feel like I'm not going to sit here and say that he's not head coach worthy, but as far as his time there, it ran its course, and it's time for a new voice in Minnesota, considering the fact that they missed the playoffs in the 2021 season. So,
Do you think he'll jump in within the division, get that Bears job or no?
I could see him possibly getting a defensive coordinator job somewhere, possibly. I don't think. Actually, you know what? I
Do you think
strongly
he's better
believe
than Dan Campbell?
as a head coach.
Yeah, as a head coach.
I think it's a little premature to say this, but yes, he is better than Dan Campbell as a head coach.
I don't know. I tend to disagree on that, but it's close. It's close. They're close.
Come on now, G. 2 playoff appearances. You can't argue with 2 playoff appearances.
That's true.
And also coaching one of the best defenses of all time. He has that on his resume too as well. So can't argue with that. You can't argue with it.
I mean, you can't, but I just think he's a better coordinator than coach. If we're talking about Mike Zimmer.
Okay. So let's go ahead and move on to what we got left. Vic Fangio in for the Denver Broncos.
He was fired too?
Yes, he says, sir. He was fired today too. So my thing is,
I think that was premature too for me. I thought they should have given him another year.
Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and agree with you on that one because
if you look at the roster,
with the lack of quarterback success with Teddy Bridgewater, Drew Lock,
going back and forth between the two, one start in 1 week, and
the whole COVID year last year too. Like, I feel like that COVID year last year that was detrimental to a lot of quarterbacks coming in last year because you had no preseason and you barely practiced too as well. So I feel like that stopped a lot of quarterbacks from developing last year. But I guess you can't sit here and make that excuse because Joe Burrow turned out fine and Justin Herbert turned out fine. But a lot of guys like Drew Lock, I'll even throw Tua in the conversation too as well, didn't develop quite well. And I think that also plays a big factor with the Denver Broncos and the lack of success at the quarterback position. Because I feel like at this particular point, the Denver Broncos are literally like just a quarterback away before the actual legitimate playoff team.
Yeah, they are. And I think we were all high on Drew Lock too. I think you were high on Drew Lock. I was high on Drew Lock. I had hope for him, and he unfortunately had a bad season. But I think if they have I think they need a coach that has energy and maybe give them some more different type of plays. I think Drew Lock can be good. I just think he just need a better offensive-minded coach, maybe a different offensive coordinator, but we'll see. But who's out there that's an offensive-minded coach? Okay, we talked about, what's his name? The guy from Kansas City.
We talk about Eric Bieniemy. We could talk about Pep Hamilton. Excuse me.
Josh McDaniels, or he doesn't want to be a coach anymore?
I'm gonna be completely 100 with you. I would try to stay away from all New England Patriots coaches moving forward, except like if we're gonna go back to about the New England Patriots, ex New England Patriot players and personnel. If anybody I would give credit to right now, I gotta give credit to Mike Vrabel because Mike Vrabel is literally doing his thing in Tennessee. When it comes down to it, Arthur Smith was the offensive coordinator for the Tennessee Titans last year, and they got into the playoffs. This year, Arthur Smith is now the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons, and they had to bring in another offensive coordinator for the Tennessee Titans. I don't know his name off the top of my head at this particular moment, but Tennessee Titans are back in the playoffs again, even due to the injuries that they had on that team throughout the course of the season. So you got to give credit where credit is due. I feel like out of all Bill Belichick's disciples, even if you don't want to call Mike Vrabel an actual disciple, I feel like he did a hell of a job with the Tennessee Titans. Because I he's a former player. He's not a former coach.
It's still the same, all coming from the Bill Belichick tree. So I would call him a disciple. I mean, Brian Flores, Josh McDaniels. I don't even know anyone else in the NFL is out there under Bill Belichick right now. A lot of them got fired or don't have a job. But back in the day, Charlie Weiss, what was the guy's name? The defensive coordinator, the black guy. What was his name with the mustache? Romeo Cornell. Yeah, all them guys on the Bill Belichick, they do well when they go out there on their own. Except Josh McDaniels, he kind of flopped a little bit, but I think if you give him another chance, he'll probably do better since he learned from that experience. But yeah, all of the Bill Belichick guys, they all seem to do well on their own for the most part.
Yes. Also, shout out to Buddha Milk Dud in the comment section. Also, shout out to Gators, Rock Tim in the comment section too as well. But last but not least, what do we miss? Matt Nagy and the head coach of the Chicago Bears and the general manager Ryan Pace out of Chicago. Matt Nagy was
Mike Zimmer situation. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say Matt Nagy had a winning record with the Chicago Bears. I believe he was like one game above 500 or something like that. But they had some serious issues as far as front office decisions, where we could take this back to the whole situation with the Chicago Bears passing on drafting Deshaun Watson and ended up going in a different direction by drafting Mitchell Trubisky, and other head-scratching decisions with the Chicago Bears. But if we being 100 with each other, I would think that the Chicago Bears would probably be the most appealing. I don't know. I take that back.
Probably Probably what other team would be more appealing than the Bears?
I think the Dolphins, either the Dolphins or the Jaguars, are probably the most appealing because of the fact of how much cap space they have. They're like are in the top 5 as far as cap space is concerned. So I would definitely either go with the Jags or the Dolphins, but I'll be more toward leaning to the Jaguars because I actually sat down because I remember me and Bakesy, you had this conversation last week when we talked about the Jaguars roster. When you sit down and you look at it, you have two.
They got a decent roster.
Yeah, they got a decent roster. Two great running backs, potentially great running backs. You have a possible franchise quarterback. Offensive line is coming together. You have two good receivers in DJ Chark and Marvin Jones, even though DJ Chark, he had a season-ending injury. And the defense is coming along too as well with Josh Allen as the pass rusher, Miles Jack at the linebacker position, and the secondary needs a little bit of tweaking. But
the space on the salary cap to bring in more players. So yeah, I think Jaguars are the most intriguing team if you're a free agent head coach. If that makes sense. If I'm a coach, I would want to go to the Jaguars because they have a bright future. But the Bears, they have the defense in place. They just need to fix that offensive line, man. God, they almost got that young boy killed this year. Oof.
The Bears are in prime position, though, to take over that division. And I think they know it. And that's why they're trying to get that quarterback position down pat because that's really what's holding the Bears back. That and it's the Bears situation and the Miami Dolphins situation is strikingly identical. Like except for the fact that I'm going to be honest with you, I'm taking Justin Fields over Tua 9 times out of 10. Is my opinion. I really believe in this kid. I think Justin Fields is a really good quarterback. He just needs somebody that can fit his system. And Matt Nagy, unfortunately, is just not that guy. You can see it. I mean, that move didn't make sense for them to draft because he doesn't seem like a Matt Nagy type of quarterback. But I feel like if they can get somebody in there that knows what to do and knows how to call, some RPOs, some read option. I even said the same thing about Tua. Remember last season? What I recommended for the Miami Dolphins, their offense, I think the offense they need to run in order for Tua to succeed. I said that the Dolphins need to implement a read option because it gives Tua that threat of running the ball, but you got a guy that's made out of paper and that doesn't like to get hit. So, whereas with Justin Fields, you got a guy that he doesn't care about getting hit. He's about that contact life. So you need to implement that in that offense so you can open up the passing game vertically so you can get behind guys. Allen Robinson is a nice guy. Mooney, that's another really good guy. They got 2 decent running backs. They just got to get their offensive line situated and a good offensive coordinator that's competent enough that knows how to call plays. And the Bears are in prime position.
Do they
also,
need
the
anything
Minnesota
on
Vikings
defense?
is another team too. Yeah.
Do they need anything on defense, the Bears, or they're set?
Nah, the Bears are okay. The Bears are okay defensively. The Bears are okay defensively. Are they the best? No, but they compete. That defense is the reason why they stayed in a lot of games this past season. Their defense, their defense kept them very close in a lot of games. You got Robert Quinn coming off probably the best season he's ever had. I mean, I know he's getting older, but then you got to also think about the fact that they didn't have Khalil Mack for a large part of the season, and that defense was still competing. It just so happened that they got to go against guys like Aaron Rodgers and Kirk Cousins in that division. It's not easy because those guys can light it up. They put up big numbers. So, well, Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, you need to cut this hating stuff out for Kirk Cousins, man. Kirk Cousins is a good quarterback. I don't care what anybody says. When this man literally throws on average for 4,000 yards and 30-plus touchdowns per year, you got to put him in that category of a top 10 quarterback.
Okay, yeah, he's a good quarterback. Yeah, he's definitely top 10 in my opinion. I really think he earned it this year. Like, he really earned that spot this year. It's just they got Mike Zimmer as their head coach, and the Minnesota situation was long overdue. I feel like Mike Zimmer should have been fired 2 years ago. That's just my opinion. This is long overdue. He should have been gone a long time ago. I don't know what it is about that Cincinnati Bengals. He was a part of that whole Marvin Lewis thing too, just to let you know. But he was part of that whole Marvin Lewis thing too. So it's long overdue. Get him out of there. Get somebody else with some new identity is going to come in and first off, work on that defense, which doesn't make sense because Mike Zimmer is known as a defensive guy, and their defense was just non-existent. Like, they had issues on the defensive line with injuries. The linebackers had injuries. The cornerbacks could not stop nobody. Like, Patrick Peterson is just – he just need to hang it up or even go to safety or something because he's just getting getting destroyed.
Like, I'm sorry to interrupt y'all real quick, but I did want to shout out Black Empire for the $5 donation, man. Appreciate you coming through, man.
Appreciate that, man. You paying some bills today, brother.
But I'm sorry. Go ahead. What were you saying?
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, I think the Vikings have a pretty solid defense. Well, not a solid defense. They have a really solid offense that's going to be able to put up points. They need some help on the defensive side of things. They need, especially in the secondary. If I'm the Vikings, I'm looking at some corners that come in and help us out immediately. Whether it's a big name free agent, maybe Xavier Howard, or something that can help them in the secondary. Because outside of Harrison Smith, what do they have? Nothing. I mean, they keep getting all these experimental guys. Remember Trey Waynes and what's the other kid name that played corner? Mackenzie Alexander, and you name it. And it's just not working. Like, it didn't work. Like, the Vikings have a defensive problem. If the Vikings defense can play a little bit better, they're a contender. They can actually compete with Green Bay.
There were literally 4 or 5 games that they literally blown because of their defense this year.
Oh man!
Because somebody got beat down
there, man. Dropped another donation.
Oh yeah! Shout out to Black Empire again, man. Dropping a $2 donation. My man, give it today. We definitely appreciate that. But go ahead, Banks. I'm sorry.
No, that was it, man. I mean, And then you also got to think my team that I think is going to get better. I think I'm expecting, in that NFC North division, I'm
The
expecting to
Lions.
see the Lions really take a jump next year because there's I don't know if people are paying attention, but the Lions have really played some good football this year. Dan
They really
Campbell
do.
is turning that team around. You can see it happening. You can see even Jared Goff is starting. Jared Goff looked like a competent quarterback this year.
Oh
Like he
my
looked
God.
like he took it personal that we let him go. I'm just saying, bro. I'm just saying.
Hey, you see what
No,
happens?
but
Let me hold on, G. Let me just say this, and I'm gonna let you go. I'm only gonna take 2
Okay.
seconds. You see how there's like no expectation for players, and there's no pressure whatsoever, and they play well. Let's see when the Lions are actually in playoff contention. Then we go revisit this conversation. But go ahead, G.
No, but I've said it. I've said it all year. The Lions have actually played in almost every single game and been in almost every single game, and they messed everybody ticket up this year because everybody picked against the Lions. But I agree with Banks. I think the Lions have a bright future. I think that surprisingly, it may sound crazy, I think the Jets might have a good team next season because they also play hard every now and then. The Falcons maybe can change it around, but definitely the Lions. I can see that.
Well, I'm not going to be on the Falcons bandwagon at all until they find a way to move on from Matt Ryan, which is damn near impossible. But
with that contract.
And then the owner has came out and publicly said that they're keeping Matt Ryan next season. So,
oh wow,
I don't know. He said it today. He's standing. Matt Ryan would be an Atlanta Falcon another year. So, hey, we'll see.
Yeah, I guess we're gonna see about that one. Is there any other possible head coaching firings that you guys see in the next week or so? By the time
we know
playoffs,
we know it's not going to be Mike Tomlin, but
another desirable location. Well, we know Mike Tomlin ain't going to win, but another desirable location is the Denver Broncos. We haven't talked enough about the Denver Broncos. That is probably the best coaching destination available right now. Honestly,
even more than the Jaguars.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, they got their roster is loaded. They just need a quarterback.
The Broncos have a really good football team. They just need a quarterback. Like seriously, they need somebody to come in there and just, i.e. a Russell Westbrook or a Deshaun Watson.
Wilson.
Deshaun Watson.
Deshaun Watson.
I mean Deshaun Watson. That's why I think Deshaun Watson is going to be playing football next year. I think Deshaun Watson is going to end up probably going to Denver, which I would love to see that Denver Bronco offense with those receivers that they have, the running backs that they have. Oh my God, it'll be just a sight to see. Like, don't sleep on John Elway, man. He's done some things before in the past. Don't sleep on that. Or maybe Russell Wilson. Maybe Russell Wilson finds a way out of the league. I mean, not New England, but Seattle, and ends up in Denver, or maybe, I mean, does Aaron Rodgers even go to Denver? I mean, you know what I mean? Like, there's a possibility.
I say the best choice is Watson. Get Watson. He's still young. He still has at least 10 to 12 years to be in the league and be great. The Watson to Miami is not happening anymore. Y'all need to let that go. Tua's going to be the guy from now on. Watson is going to Denver. I'm telling you, that's the best. That's the most likely outcome, in my opinion.
We'll see what happens when this new head coach come in and start making his demands. Okay, if I take this job, Tua can't come. He got to go. Tua got to go.
That ain't gonna happen, Pimpin. That ain't gonna happen.
We ain't gonna have. We ain't gonna have time. We ain't gonna have time to talk about the playoff matchups.
Yeah, I did. Before we do that, though, I do want to touch on the Pittsburgh.
Shout out to Shake Money in the chat, man. Well, Shake.
Yeah, what's up, Shake? I did want to talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers because they did end up creeping into the playoffs.
They did. They sure did.
they creeped into the playoffs, and I gotta give credit where credit is due. They found ways to win football games. Survive. Stay above water. How about that? Stay above water. Because they literally have no business in the playoffs, and I'm with Quinte on this one. I really wanted to see the Chargers in the playoffs over the Raiders and the Pittsburgh Steelers. But hey, better luck next year for the Chargers. But I'm gonna go ahead and give credit where credit is due for the Pittsburgh Steelers. That doesn't. I'll go ahead and give Mike Tomlin A little bit of respect. A little bit more respect.
Okay.
Well, bit more respect.
The reason why the Steelers made the playoffs is because the Colts, man. The Colts.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you for bringing that to my attention. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. The Indianapolis Colts. They blew my ticket.
Hey, Indianapolis Colts is who I thought they were. That's who I thought they were.
You know,
at the beginning of the season,
Quinte,
they are who I thought they were.
You giving Quinte too much credit.
But it's
Quinte,
I'm not.
I'm gonna say this to you, bro. What I said about the quarterback, he was trash, right?
Okay, that's this.
No. See, no, he wasn't trash.
He is not trash.
What did he do? What did he do when they needed him the most?
He fumbled and he threw a pick.
He shat the bed.
Okay, what happened to the running game that game?
They shat the bed. I'm just saying, who they thought they were. The Dolphins of the South.
They're not the Dolphins of the South. They're not the Dolphins of the South. Let's be completely 100 with you. We go sit here and we go compare the teams that the Indianapolis Colts played and the Miami Dolphins teams played, and you can see the big difference between the level of competition that the Colts had to play.
But how do you wet the bed against the Jaguars?
I think they said they're like 0-13 in Jacksonville since 2014.
That's sad.
It's very sad, but these are the type of games where you be like, these are divisional games. We see these guys 2 times a year. These games could go either way. I understand that, but these are the games that it could go either way. And unfortunately, the Indianapolis Colts they turned the ball over early, and it ended up going in the Jacksonville Jaguars direction.
There's no excuse. They choked. They choked that game. That was their chance to win the game, get in the playoffs, and battle for the championship. That was your chance. That was your moment. And they just completely wet the bed. They just choked. 11 points. 11.
I'm with you.
Shat the bed. Remember I told you at the beginning of this, I would go. You should make a montage. What I said to the little white boy who came. You should make a montage.
Don't worry, they'll be back. I just talked to them last week. They'll be back.
They are who I thought they were.
Also, shout out to Blade in the comment section, man. Appreciate you coming through. Was there any other? Oh, Banks, you still there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I know I said we gonna cover one more game. The Rams. They went to bed yesterday.
I mean, that's fine.
We just evaluating the game. We're not looking at the playoffs yet. The playoffs is the next segment, obviously, but we just strictly talk about the San Francisco 49ers and the Los Angeles Rams and how the 49ers just took over the game in the second half.
The 49ers look like they wanted it more.
I blame it on 85% on Raheem Morris, who I want fired. I'm just going to say that on the record. I want Raheem Morris removed as the defensive coordinator for the Los Angeles Rams. And I also need to call out my head coach, Sean McVay. He needs to sit his hyper ass down and stop running his ass onto the field, because teams hate that shit, and it just gives them extra motivation during the game. You don't do that stuff during the game. Sean McVay needs to stay his ass on the sideline. Stop running onto the field when we do something good. Be a head coach, have some dignity, have some respect, and stay your ass on the sideline. Stop doing that, because it just triggered the 49ers. Then you turn around on 3rd and 1. On 3rd and 1, you go from shotgun on 3rd and 1. I rest my case. But you know what? I can't complain. The Rams finished off with a great record. We won the NFC West after being doubted all season long. We went an entire month of November without winning a damn game. Everybody was coming after me all the time because we didn't win the game. And then somehow we still end up winning the NFC West. The NFC West is the hardest division in football. It's too close to call in most situations. You literally, for the last 3 or 4 years in this division, we found out the division winner on the very final week of the season. So it's too premature to say who's going to win that division. Premature. So, but we got a big game coming into the playoffs next week against not next week, but this week against Arizona. We'll see how that works out.
That's basically another divisional game, 3rd matchup in a row.
So let's go ahead and look into some of these playoff matchups. I don't want to get too deep into them because we have on Wednesday our betting odds and spreads for the wild card weekend. But
Right,
you got obviously Banks just said the Rams at the Arizona Cardinals. Oh, excuse me, the
No.
Arizona Cardinals at the
yeah.
Rams, excuse me. And then you have the San Francisco 49ers at the Dallas Cowboys, and you had the Philadelphia Eagles at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I see one upset already. 49ers over Cowboys. I think the 49ers will win on the road. The Steelers and Chiefs. The Steelers defense, can they stop that offense? I don't see that happening. I think
Come
the
on,
Chiefs
man.
win that.
Nigga, it's about to be. I saw a meme on Facebook said it's about to be an ass whooping in Arrowhead.
Yeah, I think the Steelers might get blown out.
Okay.
To nobody's surprise, honestly, that's going to be a massacre.
You guys always say that, and it's always the other way around. Just like y'all said against the Jets and the Buccaneers, that you just never know. Any Sunday, I'm not saying the Steelers can win. I'm just saying I don't think it's going to be a beatdown, but they're going to win by at least 8 to 10 points.
That's a beatdown, G.
I feel as though the game is going to be close. It's going to be close. Big Ben going to play his best game. They're going to play.
Man, that's a beatdown.
Okay, so what about the Eagles and the Buccaneers?
Eagles, that's a beatdown too.
That's not a beatdown.
Actually, you know what? No, because Tampa Bay, they're not exactly healthy right now.
Oh,
so I can see the Philadelphia Eagles coming in there, and the Eagles hanging around with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and then Tom Brady has to do Tom Brady things and go drive down the field and score a game-winning touchdown, or they're gonna kick a field goal or something with 2 minutes and some change left on the clock.
That's the safe bet. Again, I don't expect us to win, but the fact that we made the playoffs is amazing.
What you mean you don't expect yourself to win? You're an Eagles fan.
I want us to win. I want us to win, but
you gotta be. We're gonna go into Tampa Bay, and we're gonna beat the Buccaneers. That's what I need you to say. I didn't hear you say
Wednesday. I'll save it for Wednesday.
Save it for Wednesday.
The best game on this ticket in the wild card, surprisingly, might be the Raiders and the Bengals. I think that's going to be a good game.
The which one?
Raiders and the Bengals. Raiders at Cincinnati.
That's an ass beat too.
Nah, I don't think so.
I don't think the Raiders are talented enough to compete with the Cincinnati Bengals, to be honest.
Yeah, but the Cincinnati Bengals defense isn't all that either. So
it's okay. Bengals can score a lot of points. Shout out to Trey in the comment section too as well. But
what's the other matchup? There's one more that we forgot.
Okay, so you got the New England Patriots at the Buffalo Bills. And
that one. That's the one. That's the one. See, that game that's a toss-up right there. I don't know who. I mean, the safe bet would be the Patriots, but Buffalo's beat them last time. They won a division.
It's the Patriots, man. I'm giving it to the Patriots. I strongly believe this was kind of like this rumor that was going around after the game, the second game that they played, that the New England Patriots, they were holding back some of their little wrinkles, what they really wanted to use for the playoffs, which that is not irregular for the New England Patriots to do. So we're gonna see. We're probably gonna see the New England Patriots come out and have Mac Jones throw the ball 50 times, and they end up blowing out the Buffalo Bills or something like that.
Y'all agree with 49ers over Cowboys or no?
Yes, the Cowboys trash.
What about the Cardinals and the Rams? We all know
sure they look like trash on Saturday, though.
That's a toss-up. Nah, I'm gonna say this to you about the Cowboys. They play all the sorry teams, and don't forget, half the players are sitting out.
Yeah,
remember that
on the Eagles. Yeah.
Yes. So I don't want to hear that.
I didn't even watch that game because I knew we didn't have nothing to play for.
I'm just being 100 with you. He always looks good. He plays a mediocre team. You'll see.
That's that we definitely can agree on. I will say we always end up making that excuse for Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys. They look good against mediocre teams, but when it comes to play with the big boys and playoff teams, Dak Prescott shrinks under pressure. But I can't say that about Brian Flores, though. But anyway,
oh my God.
But anyway,
let me say this. You're talking about a player and a coach, right?
What's the difference?
It's a difference. I'm gonna say this to you. I can't get mad at you because how you feel. I don't agree with it, but as a Dolphin fan, a former Dolphin fan,
That's true.
this is sad, bro. Because this has been happening for a long time. This is sad. We need Wayne Huizenga to come out the grave and pick a coach. Even though he was cheap as hell.
They need to let me pick the coach. How about that? They need to let me pick the coach.
I'm gonna say this to you, bro. Who can be our coach? Who? Nobody.
If it depends. Okay, I'm saying we're gonna extend this podcast for like another 10 minutes. So
Okay.
You could give me a scenario. Would you want me to keep Tua or drop Tua?
Drop him.
At this scenario, what they just did, they're keeping Tua.
They are, yeah.
I don't know.
I don't see how he doesn't see it.
They shouldn't.
How he does not see it.
Them keeping Tua.
Hey, like you said earlier, Banks, we gonna see who they bring in here, and that's gonna be the telltale sign of what they gonna do.
Okay, you're gonna bring another assistant coach. Being me as an assistant coach doesn't have head coach experience.
But that scenario was to accommodate.
I'm gonna say this to
Deshaun Watson.
I'm gonna say this to you, bro. If you think they had a problem with Brian Flores being too headstrong, a bully, all this crap, what you think they gonna have with being me?
They said, okay, this is what it sounds like to me with Brian Flores. This is like one of those my way or the highway type of coaches where I kind of peeped it when we end up having a conversation about Minkah Fitzpatrick. You mean to tell me your best player on defense, you can't accommodate him where you
can't accommodate this to you, dude. When you're a new coach, you cannot accommodate one player because everybody gonna want to be accommodated.
Okay,
you gotta set your footprint up front. You gotta set your dominance up front. What you think Bill Belichick did?
But he's not Bill Belichick, Quinte. He is an unproven coach. Bill Belichick has 6 Super Bowl rings. You cannot compare the two.
I'm talking about Cleveland Browns, Bill Belichick. When he ain't have no effing cachet, nothing. He was another young coach giving him a chance. And guess what they did? They fired him. And it was becoming good. And they got rid of the team and they became the Baltimore Ravens. Then he went to the Jets. He quit the Jets and went to the Patriots. Right? Mm-hmm. And guess what happened? He was about to get fired.
You know what, Quinte? Quinte, we can sit here and have this conversation all you want. But all I got is a nice little track record of former New England Patriot coaches that have not had success in the league.
But name all those.
It's only one. It's Josh McDaniels. What are you talking about?
Only one. What? Only one. Eric Mangini, Josh McDaniels, Bill O'Brien, Romeo Crennel.
Romeo Crennel had success. He had a little.
Romeo Crennel, Bill O'Brien had success.
Bill O'Brien had success.
Yes, he did.
A little bit. Yeah, he did.
Man, that's the captain of mediocre. If you ask me, it's the captain of mediocre.
But he went to the playoffs more than the Dolphins.
Your boy, Mike Vrabel is doing good with Tennessee.
That's the thing. Mike Vrabel is the only one. He is the only one.
So we're not going to sit here and try to make it seem like Brian Flores wasn't a successful coach, bro. Like, come on, bro.
He's not a successful coach. That's what he's to the playoffs.
Come on, man.
What you mean? Like, what? Okay, what do we let? Okay, see, this is where I have a problem.
I'm gonna ask you a question.
Where do we measure? Where do we measure good coach and bad coach? Where do we measure that at? Because it seems like the goalpost keeps getting moved.
Let me ask you a question before I leave. You know, me and you love Marvin Lewis, but Marvin Lewis had a franchise quarterback, Carson Palmer, and a second tier quarterback in Durant
Andy Dalton.
Right? And he won with those players, right?
Correct.
Who did Brian Flores have as his franchise quarterback? Every coach who's successful in the league has a franchise quarterback. Did he have a franchise quarterback? No. That's why I can't gauge him on that. He did not want him. He wanted the big white boy who played for the LA Chargers. But they said, no, we're going to get the brittle Samoan. Right?
Agreed.
Okay,
So,
so when
come on now.
so when Banks is
cannot
here
say-
and says his
and
things
then-
about
and
Marvin
difference-
Lewis and he had to deal with Mike Ditka,
difference between
had to
Adam
deal with
Gase and
all
him.
these other quarterbacks that he had to deal with, we don't think about that. We just look at wins and losses. That's what it comes down to. Wins and losses and playoff appearances. That's what we look at.
I'm gonna say this to you.
That's
If you take away that
standard. What do
first
you mean?
year, if you take away that first year, the last 2 years he has a winning record. That first year was not on him. It was the front office got rid of all the players.
I think in that press conference, I believe they said Brian Flores will be in charge of all player personnel.
He was. I'm gonna say this to you.
All player personnel.
If you believe that, I don't know what to say about you, bro.
What you mean if I believe that you don't
If
know
you
what to say
believe
about
that,
it?
I don't know what to say about you. That's like saying he wanted to draft two and he wanted two to play last year. And
We don't know. We
Come
don't
on now,
know.
dude. I'm gonna say
We
this.
do not know.
I'm gonna say
Okay.
this to you. How that man cursed that Tua in that Titans game, how he gave him that look and wanted to punch him in his face. That shows you he does not want that man on his team.
Man, he cursed out everybody. I'm just keeping it a buck here. I'm looking at the Nick Saban ties. I feel like that was possibly another reason why they ended up making that decision too as well. So I can't really say if it was
That's bad.
Stephen
That's
Ross.
bad for business, bro. That's bad.
But my thing is though, Quinte, the reason why I'm not 100% that was Ross on board with that because he's the one that got on the plane to go talk to Watson. So
But
I can't.
How can you get mad at a coach for having how he feels, but you doing the quarterback you drafted dirty by going to talk to another quarterback? You understand what I'm saying? That's still asinine.
We don't know all the facts though. That's why I'm just dead it right there for me.
That's okay. That's like you have a wife. You have a wife already.
That ain't my wife. That's my child. I adopted another child. That's bad.
You have a wife, and you go fly a plane to another state, talk to another woman. How you think your current wife gonna feel about you going to talk to another woman? Come on now, that just asinine. This is
again, Quinte. When we find out who the next head coach is, we could put the puzzle pieces together to see exactly what happened. That's one thing I will agree with.
If they don't get the chin, to be our coach, somebody like that.
Who is the chin?
The chin. The real Steelers coach.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Bill Cowher?
Yes.
Oh,
that's what you call him.
What the fuck? Bill Cowher ain't coming out of the.
I know that, Banks. But I'm just saying.
What about Mike Shanahan?
Enjoying retirement.
What about Mike Shanahan come out of retirement?
No.
You might as well go get Wade Phillips.
All right. With that being said, guys, we thank y'all so much for.
I appreciate y'all, but I gotta get it.
All right. So
that bad. Hold on. Wait a minute.
Quinte left, yo.
That dysfunctional. You Negroes want to bring Bill Cowher.
Wade Phillips.
You how bad this organization is. This organization sucks, and I feel bad for the Dolphins fans. I feel bad for y'all because guys have been suffering. You know they did that 10-year challenge thing right recently on the internet when it went viral. How about the 10 years since the Miami Dolphins have not done shit? It's sad, bro. It is really
it's
sad.
Not sad. I don't feel bad for Miami Dolphins fans. I don't.
More noise than the
so you don't feel bad for yourself?
I don't. You know what? I don't feel bad for myself because I didn't want to in the first place.
Everything's on Tua. Everything. Yeah. Okay. The Dolphins have been sorry before Tua.
Can somebody just tell me, Banks, you was right about Tua? Can I just get
you were right, Mr. Banks.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
We were in agreement about Tua, Mr. Banks.
I didn't want to be. You can't.
Y'all didn't want to face the radio, and this is the consequences of your own actions. Listen, I faced the radio. I listen. As a Rams fan, we once had Jared Goff at quarterback. And you could not tell me Jared Goff was not next level at one point. And then that motherfucker decided to throw all the interceptions in the whole wide world. So guess what? I have a good.
Who brought you to the light, Banks? Who brought you to the light?
Hey man, I got to give you props on that. Hey, I've always admitted it. Listen, I don't run from the truth. The truth is Jared Goff sucks. The truth is Tua sucks, And the Dolphins need answers. I'm really pissed off with the Miami Dolphins letting go Brian Flores. I think it was a bad decision, but we have to wait now and see who the Miami Dolphins are going to bring in. But as I mentioned at the beginning of the pod, and by the way, everybody who stayed tonight to listen to the show, we thank y'all so much for staying by. Please don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like and hit that bell notification so you can get all the notifications anytime that we go live. We go talk about anything sports. But one last thing, the Miami Dolphins have to bring in a high-profile name. If you want to attract the free agents and the players that you want to come in and help, you need a coach with a high profile. Eric Bieniemy is a very hot guy. Now, he's a black coach, but anyway, I doubt they run it back again, so we'll see.
Oh, man. With that being said, we are approaching the hour and 15 mark. Did anybody have any final thoughts before we end up closing this thing out?
You know what has to happen? Mickey Arison just has to go and buy the Dolphins, so that way everything will be under his roof, because he's running the Miami Heat organization. They are the class of the NBA. They are they just stay competitive, and they've just been great since they've been out. But to me, they're over the Dolphins now. I don't want to hear about nothing about the Dolphins. It's about the Miami Heat in Miami. That's it. Fuck the Dolphins. I'm tired of them. Miami Heat. Other than that, I can't wait for the playoffs. I'm just excited about the game. I actually want the Steelers to win because I'm a Steelers fan as well as an Eagles fan. But I just want to see the games. The games are going to be great. I can't wait to sit back with this new TV I have and just vibe, and it's going to be nice. Can't wait for the playoffs, man. Can't wait.
Big shout out to Black Empire, man. Thank you so much for the donation, man. That is our very first donation we ever had on the stream. Thank you so much, Black Empire.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Is that what you got for me, Banks?
I mean, I don't have nothing to say, man. I just said what I had to say. I ran it just now. The Dolphins suck. They find a head coach that's going to challenge management. That's going to not only just challenge management, challenge the players, challenge the fans, challenge everybody. You have to. That's what I love the most about Brian Flores, because you can tell that he was no nonsense. And he stood by what he said. And I love that about the guy. I hate the fact that Brian Flores does not have a job right now, but I know that he's going to bounce back very soon. He's going to be coaching or head coach somewhere soon. I would probably give it maybe a few weeks or so, and he's going to be, because he's one of the most respected minds in the NFL. And I believe this to be true just based on the fact of what he has done personally to my Los Angeles Rams. He destroyed us in the Super Bowl, and he destroyed us in the regular season. I will always respect that guy because he figures out a way. And I feel like the Dolphins made a big mistake by letting him go, but we'll see.
He might be the defense coordinator for your team. Never know.
I would love for Brian Flores to come be the defensive coordinator for the Los Angeles Rams. At least he knows what the fuck he's doing, because Raheem Morris, black ass, don't know what he's doing. Fire Raheem Morris!
I just set it up, huh? How DeVore set it up and he hit it out the park, huh?
I think Brian Flores was a better job to be the defensive coordinator, but time will tell. As I said earlier, we are recording this podcast as the national championship is going on. Alabama and Georgia currently sitting right now. I believe Alabama is up right now. Anybody got the score up the top of their head?
No, Georgia's up right now. Georgia is up. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Alabama just went up. So Alabama's up 18-13.
Okay, Alabama is up 18-13. So we're going to be back Wednesday when we end up doing our wild card weekend betting odds and spreads. I also wanted to go ahead and shout out Black Empire for the donations this evening. For those that came and checked out the podcast, just be sure to go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe button, and most definitely share. This is the Not for the Bay podcast. Like I said, we're going to be back Wednesday evening, 10 p.m. Eastern time. We are out of here, man.
Later. Peace.